So, hello everyone. Courageous has a whole new meaning, right? Courageous for the speaker, courageous for the listener, the whole thing. I mean, you just kind of feel that word on many levels. And we're just so glad you're here. And we're glad for everyone that has invested their time to coach and pray. We've had nothing but, we've had so many significant testimonies of what happened last Sunday. It made us cry. God is at work here. And we know it's not the cure-all. We know it's not the only thing that helps restore and heal and the journey of oneness, but it is significant, this conversation. So we have a testimony of one of those couples. Hyun and Shanae are going to share what happened for their courageous conversation. And so back in January, we had a half day where we were training the table leaders, and they were, you can come up now if you'd like, and they were having a courageous conversation. And the idea was, let's practice these so that we can build that muscle. And some of them in our leadership have learned this tool before, and some it was brand new. And so they would like to share what happened. If you want to scoot over here, let's move this out of the way. Yeah, you can come straight over here. That'd be great. So we just appreciate these stories that have been coming in.
Okay, hi. Yeah. Good morning. So it's better for me to write and read, so I'm going to read it. Okay. So when I first started Courageous Conversation, it took much longer than expected. So I couldn't use it often in my daily life. However, practicing it through the class allowed me to train myself to identify exactly why I feel uncomfortable or why negative emotions were surfacing. Usually when I'm angry, I don't want to talk to my husband and tend to avoid him because we could easily start fighting and get upset without any positive outcomes. So this negative emotion toward him used to leave us feeling disconnected. But through courageous conversation, we were able to stay connected and find a way to solve the issue together. So by having him quietly listen to my thoughts and ask deeper questions like, what will the future be like if nothing changes? He helps me face this issue head on. This allowed me to communicate my thoughts to him accurately. During our courageous conversation, his reflective listening and mirroring helped me clarify my own words for myself. I was able to move beyond just feeling and discover what I was truly worried about at the core of the issue. For example, I was upset with Hyun regarding how we parent our kids. Since two of them are now adults, our parenting has shifted to adulting. He wanted to treat them as adults, emphasizing independence, but to me, they are still young and need our care. This created a gap between us and a pattern of conflict. Through courageous conversation, I realized my biggest fear was the future that our kids might stop coming to us with their concerns if we treat them too much like adults right now. So that revelation was something I hadn't realized before. So since Hyun also wants to be a mentor and a safe harbor for them, we found common ground. So if it weren't for courageous conversation, I would have taken this to God in my prayer, but it likely would have taken much longer to find peace and uncover my true underlying concerns. I believe courageous conversation is so effective for couples because it focuses on no blaming and no explaining, just listening and mirroring. When one person truly listens to what the speaker is trying to say, the speaker can manage their emotions and find hope for a positive resolution. Ultimately, this process bridges the gap between us, reminding us that we are on the same team. It turns a moment of potential conflict into a deep, meaningful connection as a couple.
Wow. It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And, you see how deep that goes, and her vulnerability to share those level of details. Many of you could probably relate to that, who have kids that are, you're trying to have them adulthood and all that, and the tension parenting. How about you, Hyun? Would you like to share your experience?
Yeah, I wasn't prepared. I thought I'll be just standing here. I think I basically echo what Shina said. So she has a hard time understanding her own emotion. Like it has been a long pattern of our 20 plus years. So I've been quite frustrated because I want to understand what's going on, but many times she doesn't even seem to know. So I cannot find out. Yeah. So it was like, okay, she's angry, so I'll just not do what I just did, like without really understanding. So that was the best act that I can do. But through Chris' conversation, it seems that she is able to like draw from the deep of her fears and her worries and verbalize it. Maybe she feels so sometimes insecure to go there, but maybe creating this environment, like I'm here to support you rather than like blaming you or like, oh, you are worrying, that's ungodly. Like I'm not doing that. I'm here to really help you explore yourself. So I was oftentimes multiple times quite surprised that she can go there and verbalize. So that helped a lot. And the second part is, so I've been, I think, more productive when I was a listener because of that issue. So when I'm listening, it's actually quite easy. Like I don't have to think about how I will rebut. Like, oh no, you shouldn't think that way. You should think this way. That's my typical conversation pattern. And that's very like easy to get into fight, but also like takes a lot of mental energy because I'm thinking of what I will say rather than I'm trying to listen to her. But through the listening side, I'm just trying to understand. So it's very calm and like kind of a meditative kind of process where we go deep into her mind. So that has been very constructive and helpful. Yeah.
So good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. One thing, have you noticed how the sermon this week is tying in with what we're going to be doing here? You know, it's all about facing your failure. Last week was about repentance. You know? And yeah, that really ties in well. I mean, because the purpose of the courageous conversation is to face some of those things that we maybe are even unaware of ourselves, but our spouse is. So this morning in my quiet time, my verse of the day was along that same theme too. It's 2 Corinthians 7:10 says, "For the sorrow that is according to the will of God produces a repentance without regret, leading to salvation. But the sorrow of the world produces death." And I wrote something up on that. There's something about the purpose of a courageous conversation. It's to gain understanding leading to repentance. Repentance is change. It's about facing our failure. It's meant to reveal a change that needs to take place. It's meant to grapple with the will of God that's bigger than the will of either individual. That's why the final agreement, you remember the agreements, is I agree to seek the will of God for our relationship. That's the bigger than my will or bigger than your will is the will of God. You might see a part of it. I see a different part of it. Together we can come closer. But to the degree that your relationship is a battle for control in your relationship, you're not seeking the will of God. You're seeking your own will. And using the courageous confrontation in a battle of wills for control is only going to result in more hurt, more pain, more shame. So it's not meant to be a weapon. It's not meant to be a tool in a battle for control. When you hear something that you don't want to hear, get curious. Try to get curious. Instead of getting angry, try to get curious. There's something they see that I don't see. There's a blind spot in me that I need to pay attention to that my spouse sees. And this is my opportunity to see. I'd never find it on my own, but maybe my spouse can reveal something to me that I need to face. So it may be something you desperately need to hear that you wouldn't discover on your own, as Shanae was saying. It provides the context for us to see with new eyes into ourselves. So let the courageous conversation lead you to repentance, lead you to brokenness, and not become a powerful weapon in a battle for control. So remember, when you hear something you might disagree with or might struggle with, get curious. Get curious and keep answering those questions. For the sorrow that's according to the will of God produces a repentance without regret, leading to salvation. So that's our desire. There's a change without regret that leads to salvation in some way in your marriage. Okay, so what are we going to cover today? This is week 4. Last week you had a courageous conversation with one person, the speaker, the other listener. Today you get to switch roles. And for most of you, try to hook you up with the same coach where possible. And for the coaches, we have these here, these one-pagers. You know, maybe I see some of you brought it, but
have one, raise your hand.
yep, it's a useful. It's all the same information. It's just kind of condensed down to one page. For the listener, you're going to have one of these from the center of your page, your center of your table there, and that has room to take notes. So this one does no room for notes. So this one's. So you go ahead and pass them out if you like.